After this, Quraysh gained great respect and became known as the people of Allah, and the year in which these events took place, 570 AD, was named the Year of the Elephant. In that year, Allah had saved the Kaaba, and He would soon bring forth a prophet from among Quraysh. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, hast thou not seen how thy Lord dealt with the owners of the elephant? Did He not bring their stratagem to naught, and send against them swarms of flying creatures, which pelted them with stones of baked clay, and made them like green crops devoured by cattle? The prophet is born one day while traveling north. One of the Arab tribes from Mecca met hermit in the desert. Some of the men stopped to speak with him. Hermit were known to be wise, and the Arabs often asked their advice. The hermit asked where they had come from. When they replied that they were from Mecca, he told them that Allah would soon send a prophet who would come from their people. They asked the name of this prophet, and the hermit answered that his name would be Muhammad, and that he would guide them to a new way of life. Meanwhile, in Mecca, Amina, although saddened by the loss of her husband, felt especially well and strong as she awaited the birth of her baby. During this time, she dreamt of many things. On one occasion, it was as if a great light were shining out of her, and on another, she heard a voice telling her that she would have a boy, and that his name would be Muhammad. She never forgot that voice, but she told no one about it.
On Monday, the 12th day of Rabi al-Awwal, in the year of the elephant, Amina gave birth to a son. Allah sends man many signs, who one of his chosen prophets is born, and on that 12th day of Rabi al-Awwal, in the year 570 AD, many such signs were seen.
Some were seen by Jewish scholars who had read in their scriptures of a coming prophet. One of these learned men in Yathrib, for instance, saw a brilliant new star he had never seen before. As he studied the heavens that night, he called the people around him, and pointing the star out to them, told them prophet must have been born. That same night, another Jew was passed in by the meeting place of the leaders of Quraysh in Mecca. He asked them if a baby boy had just been born, and told them that if it were true, he would be the prophet of the Arab nation.
Amina sent news of the birth to her father-in-law, Abd-al-Muttalib. He was sitting near the Kaaba at the time. He was very happy and began at once to think of a name for the boy. An ordinary name would not do. See, days came and went, and still he had not decided. But on the 7th day, as he lay asleep near the Kaaba, Abd-al-Muttalib dreamt that he should give the baby the unusual name of Muhammad, just as Amina herself had dreamt. And the child was called Muhammad, which mean the praised one. When Abd-al-Muttalib told the leaders of Quraysh what he had named his grandson, many of them asked, "Why did you choose the sort of name that is used by our people?" At once he replied, "I want him to be praised by Allah in the heavens and praised by men on earth."
A time with Halima. Like many other women in Mecca, Amina decided to send her son away from the city for his early years to the desert, where it was more healthy. Women from the desert used to come to Mecca to collect the new babies, and they would then keep them until they developed into strong children, for which they were well paid by the parents. Among the women who traveled to Mecca to fetch a new baby at the time Amina's son was born was a Bedouin woman called Halima. With her was her husband and baby son. They had always been very poor, but this year things were harder than ever because there had been famine. The donkey that earned Halima on the journey was so weak from hunger that he often stumbled. Halima, own baby son, cried all the time because his mother could not feed him properly. Even their she-camel did not give them one drop of milk. Halima did not know what to do. She thought to herself, "How can I possibly feed another baby when I haven't got enough milk even for my own son?" At last they reached Mecca. All the other women of the tribe to which Halima belonged, the Bani Asad, found a child to take back with them, but not Halima. The only baby left was Muhammad. Usually the father paid the wet nurse, but Muhammad's father was dead, so no one wanted to take him, even though he was from one of the noblest families of Quraysh. Halima did not want to take him either, but she did not want to be the only woman to go back to her tribe without a baby to bring up. She asked her husband whether she should take Muhammad or not. He advised her to do so, adding, Perhaps Allah will bless us because of him. They started on the return journey, and as soon as Halima began to feed Muhammad, her milk suddenly increased, and she had enough for him as well as her baby son. When they were back home, everything began to change. The land became green, and the date trees, one of their main sources of food, gave lots of fruit. Even the sheep and their old she-camel began to give plenty of milk. Halima and her husband knew that this good fortune had come because they had the new baby, Muhammad, whom they had come to love as if he were their own son. When Muhammad was 2 years old, Halima took him back to his mother. She pleaded with Amina, however, to let her keep him for a little longer, and to her great joy, the mother agreed. During his time with Halima's family in the desert, Muhammad played with her children, and together they would take the sheep out to graze. At other times, however, Halima would often find him sitting alone. It is said that on one occasion 2 angels came to Muhammad and washed his heart with snow. In this way, Allah made his heart pure, for he intended Muhammad to be greater than any man ever born, and to become the seal of the prophets. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, did we not expand thy breast for thee, and ease thee of the burden which weighed down thy back, and exalted thy fame? So, truly, with hardship comes ease. Truly, with hardship comes ease. So, when thou art relieved, still toil and strive to please thy Lord. When Halima finally took Muhammad back to Amina, he was a healthy, strong boy. Later, he would look back with joy on the time he had spent with Halima, and he always thought of himself as one of the Bani Sa'd,